Hi everybody, welcome back to Critical Mass. Today we have been introduced with a question on should we stop releasing movies to wait for the Chinese box office market to come back? And will it make a difference? And we're going to talk about it right after this. So right now, in China, the theaters are all closed. Nobody can take in the theaters, and it's costing the movie business so far this year for 2020, $1.9 billion worth of revenue. And now we're going into the busy season with the blockbuster films coming out, and it's going to affect their worldwide numbers. So picture a movie coming out that is going to get close to the world record or something, and because China's not open, it's not going to get there.
Wouldn't even come close right now.
So the question's been asked, should they stop releasing movies or delay them until this picks up again? So what do you guys think?
I think they should start offering them, at least to the China market, on a pay-per-view system. So they can, they're quarantined, they're in their house, the theaters are closed, but they'd still be able to pay to watch it.
That has been brought up, but the trouble is, the way the system works right now in counting the money, that anything pay-per-view does not count as sales to the movie. That's aftermath kind of thing. That's
the way it is now, but all they have to do is modify contracts to allow for the release. The problem I see is that once you do a pay-per-view release, there are going to be people recording it and just spreading it around.
They do that there anyway.
Except another thing is, once you let that, out of the bag, as you will, the cat out of the bag, people are going to say, well, I don't want to have to go to those crowded theaters or stand in line and all that. I want to watch it at my own home. Why aren't you offering it to us now? And now you have the theater owners and the theater chains going under. And nobody wants that right now.
Okay, but if you withhold the movie, nobody's going to those theaters that are not making money.
But
anyway.
That's China. They're closed anyway. That won't make a difference. They're still going to Ontario. They're still going to New York. They're still going to California. Those people are still making money.
Well, they're going there now. But we know that there are hot spots in the US right now where things are
heating up.
Yeah, they're getting hotter. They're not out of control yet, but they're getting hotter. And how long will it be until sporting events, concerts, or movie theaters are shut down?
Well, see, I think when it comes to that point, they'll do that. If the United States is about to close down, they'll just shut down everything. And they'll just postpone everything till they open. Period. But as far as delaying it right now just because China's in that situation, I don't think they would do that.
See, I don't want them to halt movie releases because I like watching movies. I like going to the movies. But you take a movie like Mulan.
Yes.
And this film was geared, obviously, towards the Chinese market. And now it is going to do nothing. Mm-hmm. Because if they release it in North America, months before they release it in China, there will already be pirated copies over there and people will not go to see it. So something that cost them hundreds of million dollars to make is going to make a third of what it needs to break even. So what they should do strategically is just push everything to the end of the year and release their product then.
How can you do that? Because that would just, any movie coming out that's going to make any kind of box office numbers or anything like that is not going to want to be released.
Actually, this could be a good thing for some of the movies. For example, a movie like
The Way Back.
The Ben Affleck movie. Okay, The Way Back. I predicted 12 million, 11 million, 10 million. Okay, so you take Mulan out of the mix. You take Bloodshot out of the mix because they were expensive movies to make and you don't want to take a loss.
They have less competition.
People still want to go to the movies, and so they'll go see Ben Affleck's movie, and maybe that one will make 10 times more than it would have otherwise.
See, I don't know. I think people will just not go.
I think people base going to the movies not based on, I just want to go to a movie theater and it doesn't matter what I watch. They're going to see a specific movie.
Yeah, and I don't think there'd be a significant increase. And the more you tell people or give the people who do go to movies on a regular basis more opportunity to decide, hey, there's more stuff on TV than going to the movies. That takes away future revenue possibly in the future. And that's what they want to avoid at all costs.
Well, yeah, but you have to think about it. We just spent $300 million making the movie, another $200 million to market the movie, and now if we release it now, we're going to make 25% of what we could make. So as an entrepreneur, are you going to do that?
Well, except it's not 25%. the Asian market right now, Chinese market is around 24%.
For a movie like Mulan,
Well, technically for any movies. Let's talk movies in general, not specifically the Asian Chinese Mulan movie that is geared towards them. That's the only reason they made that movie. But do you mean Onward should not be released next? Does Black Widow not get released next? Like, where do you stop? Mulan's kind of the exception because it was made for them. If they delayed one movie, not a big deal. I'm talking if they start delaying all the movies.
well, okay, you're gonna have to calculate. Well, listen, I'm the only guy with the coffee, so I'm more intellectual than the both of you. You're gonna have to calculate the runtime of the typical movie. So Onward, if you expect it to make most of its money in opening weekend, and then kind of get more money for how many weeks? 6 weeks?
Max.
Okay. Is 6 weeks enough time before theaters are shut down in the United States, or before the hotspots are too big to risk going to the movies?
Well, see, the trouble is, you can't predict.
No, but we know the trend.
Like, they're not, like, the Onward's opening Friday. So
it might
they're
have
not
enough
going
time.
to tell us. They can't say now, by the way, we're not going to do the movie now. It's already decided it's going to be out there. So
but at the end of the month, when Mulan is ready to release, or whatever comes out the week after Mulan, say,
Oh.
is there enough time to release it and make money before people are thinking, maybe I don't want to go to the movies because of this thing happening?
well, here's your other problem. If you start backlogging movies that aren't being released and you try and release them later, say 5, 6, 7 months down the road, you now have a gluttony of movies all trying for the exact same space.
And I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you hold it back. It doesn't matter if you release in certain areas. I think Hollywood's going to take a hit on this either way.
Oh, they are. Absolutely. And you know what? Even the rumor right now right now it's March Madness getting ready to start. The biggest basketball event other than the playoffs. And even so, maybe bigger than the playoffs. People are saying, maybe we shouldn't have fans in the stands. Can you imagine March Madness without fans in the stands?
Just an audience soundtrack?
Yeah.
The laugh track.
Like that would be crazy.
I think
But
every
we're-
single business is going to take a hit because of what's happening. There's no way around it. Now, what do we prefer? Do we want to have our movies lose money?
Well, I think the movies in themselves, other than maybe Mulan, the movie company itself are going to say this is a worldwide thing that's happening, and we're just going to have to take our licks while it's happening now and get through it and continue on. Because movies are scheduled 3 and 4 years away. The release dates are 2 years away. You just can't push everything back.
I think a natural outlet for this will be the big movie players will make contracts with all of the streaming services. So you might be able to get a big movie like Black Widow's movie on Hulu and Amazon Prime and Netflix, and because those players will have given money to the studio so that they could get the movie.
Except in a lot of cases now, those streaming services are owned by the movie company. Like Disney owns Hulu.
But not enough people are going to subscribe to Disney just to watch that movie.
Well, they're not going to sell it to another streaming service because they want you to watch our movies on our streaming service.
True, but if they're going to take a really massive financial hit, they might say, maybe we can make some money off of this and save a bad situation.
We'll see. What do you guys think? Do you think they should hold off on movies? I think it's a very hard thing to do. If you release them now, China is going to be the only place that's really affected, and they're as of right now, because you're going to get pirated copies and all that. But you know what? You get pirated copies anyway if they're not released on the same date.
True.
But I think the movie companies are afraid, and the theaters are putting pressure on them to say, hey, no, we need movies in our theaters. If you start going streaming services and streaming services and streaming services, that's our jobs and our business.
Yeah.
And, you know, like they get 40 to 50% of the gate.
But if they're closed, they're closed.
If they're forced to close, that's a whole new situation. Then every movie is off the hook, right? Because there's no choice. But if it's only China, I obviously, it's a hard time to do that. I think Hollywood's going to just take a hit. Maybe a couple movies get postponed a little later.
It's a pickle either way.
Yeah, but they can't back up too long because they will now be fighting each other when it comes out, and you'll end up having Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel's next Avengers movie all on the same day, and they'll just lose money altogether.
Or that's a great day of movie watching.
It might be for the fans, but not for the movie studio that owns all 3 movies. So, well, let us know what you guys think down below. It's a scary situation, and it is a weird situation, and something we didn't think we'd ever see. I hope you liked this video. If you did, why not give it a thumbs up, and maybe check out some of our other content down below. Maybe check out that subscribe button so you can see some more of our stuff. We have over 100 videos on the channel now, and more coming every week. So,
Hey, drop the name change.
up. And we are thinking on changing the name, because a lot of people say, hey, Critical Mass, great name, what's it mean? So we decided, we're just some nerds, guys who hang out, we watch movies, we're not experts, we just give our opinion. We'd like a channel name that kind of suits our personalities right now. I suggested Two Losers and Dawn, but I was voted down. So you guys, come up with yours and give us some suggestions down below, and who knows, you might be the winner of choosing the YouTube channel that becomes the biggest YouTube channel out there.